So this book is broken down into 6 weeks. Week 1, manage your credit. Week 2, optimize your bank accounts. Week 3, prepare to invest. Week 4, use a conscious spending. Week 5, automate your money transfers. And lastly, week 6, learn how and where to invest. Seems pretty easy, right? I packed my things into a storage room on August 23rd, 2022. So it's been a while since I've been traveling full time. And while most of these finance books are focused on teaching us not to spend lattes outside, this book was very different. So let's dive in. Money has a lot to do with emotions. It's something I've read a ton of books on and have literally put in work to fix it. So I have to say that I love that Ramit even calls this out, since this is his second version of the book. Inside the first version of the book, he admits that one of his biggest mistakes was telling people that following these steps alone would change it all. The truth is, that won't work. It's combining the actionable steps with the invisible money scripts. If you've never heard this term, invisible money scripts are automatic sayings and thoughts that we've heard around the house or even from society, like credit cards are a scam. We don't talk about money in this house. Stop spending money on lattes. So the biggest theory from this book is that it's not about cutting out the lattes, as most financial gurus would advise, but rather creating what Ramit calls your own rich life, which he teaches readers to do by dividing their income into 4 major buckets. So this means your income is divided like this: 50 to 60% to fixed costs, 10% to investments, 5 to 10% to savings, 20 to 35% guilt-free spending money. And if you know me, you know I love a financial management system that uses percentages. I read the book Profit First, which gives percentage tables for businesses, and it completely transformed how I run my business. So when I read this, I was already all in. Now, what I love the most about this book is the last category mentioned: guilt-free spending. Your rich life can be spending on luxury designer items, so that's where the spending money would go. It might be taking your family across the world to insane resorts, or maybe investing in yourself and attending the best conferences. There's no right or wrong answer. For me, it's traveling. It's always been traveling. My first trip I did alone, well, it was to study abroad, but I did go alone, was in Portugal. I worked overtime. I applied for a credit card. I was willing to do anything to get there, and I guess nothing has changed. I mean, I definitely manage my money a lot better now, but the passion to travel hasn't. And one of my favorite quotes from the book says this: obsessing over the little financial details daily isn't the goal. It's leaving it automated and running so you can live a rich life without worrying about it. And I couldn't agree more. I think most financial books focus so much on pinching pennies when that's not what's going to actually work. So what I did was that I spent the 6 weeks that he laid out, setting up all these different things. Honestly, most of them were like a one-time and done thing, which is great. This includes gathering your bills, knowing all of your accounts, ensuring how your rates are, making sure that you're happy with them, and if not, taking the time during week 2 to negotiate, changing them up, setting up your automatic payments and transfers to each category, all those great things. And a great hack I love to do to make this a lot easier is to switch your bill dates for every account so that it's on the same day. That way you can leave things automated, and it's a one-time and done thing, so you don't have to worry about it. And plus, you can also avoid late fees. So for example, if you have multiple credit cards and let's say your rent payment and your electricity bill, all these different things, you would change the bill dates for all of them to be, let's say, on the 30th of each month. So that way it's just one day that you're like thinking about, but not even, because if you leave it automated, well, that's all done for you and you never have to really worry about it or worry about those late fees, which if you have things scattered and all around, that can totally become a hassle. I know it was for me before I had everything like all done together. Basically, the same exact steps that I shared from the book Atomic Habits, which is in this video over here, work with money. It's the same exact thing. And now here's where it gets really good. As someone that travels full time, I think it's an automatic thought of whenever I say that, people say like, how is that even possible? Where is the money coming from? Like, why aren't you saving and doing all these other things that you could be doing before like traveling full time? And I get it. I totally get it because I used to have the same exact thoughts before I was doing it, since it was not something that I always wanted to do. Like I was never like, I want to travel the world full time. No, I knew that I wanted to travel and I was always like, like how are people making it work? Like I would have loved to have been able to ask them and have like a realistic approach to it. And first of all, here's the truth coming from somebody who's now traveling full time. First of all, I think a lot of people would be surprised at how much traveling full time actually costs. I forgot to mention, but if you'd like to know exactly how much traveling for a full year costs, make sure to check this video out right here. Of course, there's ranges like anything else. There's people that do backpacking style, and then there's people that go all out, super luxury. I think I fall in the middle, like not to one side, not to the other. And that's what this book has that no other finance book I've read has. And the thing is that it makes you question what living a rich life means to you. Mine is definitely going to be different from yours. Yours doesn't have to look anything like mine, and that's perfectly fine. And one of the biggest aha moments I had reading this book was that my rich life is this that I've been doing the past years. And while it's still working under the percentages, then I'm all good. And that's the great part about it. That's what I think everyone should find for themselves. If you spent money on things with no one noticing, nobody knowing it, nobody seeing like that new car, that new purse, what would you spend money on? This book also shares a lot of tips for investing that I wouldn't say aren't the common ones. So here are the top 3 that I found most valuable. Number 1, the 5-year rule. Don't invest money in the stock market that you'll need in the next 5 years. Instead, save for short-term goals in high-yield savings accounts. The book says this: investing should be very boring and profitable over the long term. That means it's not about trying to time the market or study which stocks will outperform the others, which we all sort of kind of got into during the pandemic. I know I kind of did, but rather picking funds which reduce risk and let you sleep at night. Vanguard research found that lump sum investing, which is investing a big pile of money, actually beats dollar cost averaging 2/3 of the time. Dollar cost averaging means entering the market with the same amount over a period of time to reduce risk. This is super interesting because I feel like most of the time, if we do have extra cash we're sitting on, we're a bit hesitant to go all in and prefer to spread it out. But from this research, we're actually hearing the opposite. And honestly, I think that's not like the usual tip we hear. So I thought that was pretty interesting that I'm definitely going to look into a bit more because I had always thought that it was the opposite. So there you have it. I hope this book helps you as much as it helped me. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And like always, I'll leave the book link down below. If you loved this video and want more videos on the best books that I've read, make sure to check this one out right here. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.